Welcome down the rabbit hole, friends. I'm glistening a bit because I just fought with my dog to give him the best, most relaxing lavender-scented bath ever. Now he's nice and sleepy, snoozing away next to my daughter, and I'm here to bring you more Kate Gosselin news. So the next section of the book is really about Kate's distorted, terrible relationship with her daughter, Maddie. I'm sure it applies to the other kids as well, but we'll see a lot of instances where Maddie and Kate, they don't get along, and the way that Kate treats Maddie is reflected back to her in Maddie's act. Hoffman writes, during the A Rough Ride episode of Kate Plus 8, Kate and about 20 people took the Gosselin kids to Bald Head Island to film a series of episodes about their summer vacation. This episode showed the world how ill-equipped, uncaring, and unloving a mother Kate Gosselin truly is. Okay, so Kate has a lot of help in this episode, and obviously John's not there any longer, and she's trying to prove to the world that she deserves to continue on with this amazing and highly educational reality TV show. So she's pulling out all the stops, and she's brought with her this army of people to help her, including Ashley, the babysitter. So really, she doesn't have that much to do with the kids, right? But I think production came to her and they were like, we need to see you involved in more scenarios. We used to have John take the kids out and do things, and then funny situations would erupt. But now you're going to have to be the John. And Kate's probably like, ugh. Okay, so a big part of the trip is that Kate is going to take the twins out by themselves with her, without, the many other little kids who can't do a lot of older kid stuff. And she's going to take them surfing, which seems crazy to me because I don't think Kate Gosselin ever came across as someone who's super active or good at balance and other types of things. But whatever, I'm not either, and I would take my kids out surfing. I just think it's the way that Kate reacts to the whole situation that ends up being really crazy. As they're getting ready to go, Kate ends up yelling and screaming at the little kids an awful lot. When it's time to leave, and it's Kate wants to be oh, I'm just so sorry I have to leave you little kids here. I know you love me so much. The kids wouldn't come and say goodbye to her, hug and kiss her. So she literally had to yell at them, get over here now and give me hugs for the camera so we can leave. Those little ones were thank God our mom is spending the day with Kara and Maddie. Now, once they get to the beach, of course, Kate is standing over Maddie. She's supposed to learn to surf, but Kate's yelling at her the entire time. There are 2 professional surfers there, but Hoffman writes, Kate feels the need to hover over Maddie and chime in because of her vast surfing knowledge. Maddie screams at Kate, don't yell at me! And eventually quits and storms off. Just one more wonderful, positive life experience ruined by Kate's need to control everything. In another of the many, many examples of Kate believing that everyone is beneath her, she also makes comments, negative comments about her surf instructor. Next, they decide it would be a great idea to ditch surfing because poor Maddie is sitting in a corner throwing a fit. They decide it would be a great idea to take the kids deep sea fishing on a boat, but things get very ugly as all of the kids start feeling sick. Neither of the twins obviously wanted to be there, okay? But Kara went. She looks extremely sad, and Maddie stayed home. We don't know what's going on with her. She's probably crying and cutting up pictures of Kate in a closet somewhere. But Kara comes along and the kids are on the boat, and then everyone starts throwing up. Hoffman writes, Kate, with all of her wisdom as a nurse, decides to hand out animal crackers and juice. Eating and drinking is exactly what anyone would want to think about in the seconds after they vomit. The vomiting begins, and Kate just starts barking orders rather than trying to comfort her sick children and helping them through a horrible situation. She commands all the other people to take care of the kids. She's a nurse, but she's just whatever, somebody do this, somebody get a bucket, do this, do that. She's not the kind of nurse who actually does the work, right? She's the kind of person who wants to be in management but can't ever really make it. Hoffman writes, Kate screams, I need something for vomiting now! Steve, the bodyguard, comes running to the rescue with chum buckets, buckets that already stink from having chopped up rotten fish inside. They're used to lure the sharks to the boat. Good job, Steve, you horrible, dumb jackass. On the interview couch, finally at home, Kate proudly says, "It was a vomit fest, Gosling style." She's like, that was a good one for the show, right? That'll make a great episode. Guys, you better watch this one. The kids are really miserable, and I know, like, that'll bring in the ratings. Okay, but cut back to the boat where and I feel so bad for this girl, poor Kara is crying. All the kids are crying and they're sick. And Colin is actually wailing, "I want to go back." And Kate says in her loving and nurturing way, "Well, you can't go back. What's wrong?" Hoffman writes, "What's wrong? All your kids are seasick, dumbass. That's what's wrong." He didn't organize this book well, but he sure is funny at times. Anyone who has ever experienced being seasick will tell you that it is complete and utter misery. That's true, for sure. Then Kate says crew members were holding buckets and security people were holding buckets and PAs were holding buckets. Guess who wasn't holding a bucket, though? I'll leave it up to your imagination. Hoffman really makes fun of Kate because he's like, she's the most organized person in the world, but she didn't bring any Dramamine or anything to help her kids through this kind of a mess. It's almost like she wanted this to happen. I don't know. I can't imagine she would really do that for the show. Like, she would be like, you know what would be great if they all start throwing up. That could be a really good episode. And then she wouldn't bring anything along to help them. I think it's more likely she just didn't think about grabbing something because she doesn't mother most of the time anyway. And if Steve Neild can't get it together and pack some Dramamine, then the kids are going to be screwed. Hoffman really makes fun of this too because he's sort of like, it's sad that we're exposed to so much of the kids suffering. Like, the camera people are getting right up in the kids' faces while they're vomiting, and they all look so miserable, especially little Aiden. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's horrible when you're seasick. I do feel bad for these kids. And it's another situation where, like, something embarrassing is put on TV, right? And it's something they have to live with for the rest of their lives. And poor Kara, I mean, you can tell why she was like, I need to find some kind of talent that can get me the heck out of here and into like a normal life, a normal environment. I don't want to go into entertainment, right? That's maybe why she followed the financial route. I'm so proud of Kara, getting her degree, moving to New York City, and working as a financial analyst. Good for you, girl. Get the heck off that Gosling boat. So there's vomit everywhere by the end of this episode. I mean, Kate even like yells in the middle of the filming, like, "Oh my God, look over there!" And it's like kids have vomited on other kids, so there's vomit down the front of them, but there's also vomit down the back of them. And of course, Kate will never miss an opportunity to congratulate herself. So back on the interview couch, like after all of this is over and Steve and the production people have taken care of the kids, she's like, yeah, it's just like really good that I was there and I handled myself so well. And I'll tell you why I was able to do it, because I just said to myself, like, this is just a moment in time. It's a boat ride and it'll be over soon. So like, we'll all be okay in the end. Because she knew once they got to land, she would step off the boat, be escorted to the nearest limousine, be driven home, while all of the nannies and the production people like gather up the kids, get them into cars where vomit is going everywhere, get them showered off. You know, Kate, of course Kate can relax a little bit this time because she knows she's not going to have to deal with the consequences of what's going on here. Okay, then when this was all over, Kate, of course, tweets to her Twitter this little nugget. Last year, it felt weird taking the kids on my first vacation, just me. And this year, it felt normal. It felt good. And wow, it's like a great place to be. But by just me, clearly Kate means she had her 2 bodyguards, 2 production assistants, 5 TLC crew members, and Ashley, the babysitter. At the very least, like those are the people that we know were there and were seen on camera. Now, these traditional trips to Bald Head Island, they stopped after filming stopped. No more for Kate and her kids. The last part of this section is kind of interesting and sad. God, it's really sad. Basically, someone tweeted at Kate, "Hey Kate, you have fans, non-fans, posting half-naked pictures of your kids on Twitter. Improper." And Kate wrote back, "Where? Please send me the links because I'll take care of it fast." Hoffman writes, "As it turned out, the joke was on Kate, sadly. The improper pictures of her half-naked kids that were posted on Twitter, the ones that she was prepared to take care of, were actually screen captures from the TLC show, the episode called Vomit Fest of Kate Plus 8. Sorry, Kate, but you're actually the one showing half-naked pictures of your kids. Meanwhile, in the background, Hoffman argues that John is still having reporters follow him around, stalk him, and then put out reports that are really unfair to his side of the story. Whenever they catch John, they take pictures of him doing something like playing basketball, and they're like, he's abandoning his kids and going out and having fun. According to Hoffman, this just wasn't a fair way for John to be portrayed. Even though he was going through somewhat of a midlife crisis, Hoffman says he really cared about his kids and he wanted to figure out the right thing to do. But as Hoffman is driving around, stalking and driving after Kate and learning about everything that's going on with her, he just sees Kate living like this dream, do whatever she wants kind of life in her Reading, Pennsylvania mansion. He follows Kate around to Target and other stores. She often has people with her to help. She has a helper in the morning that helps her get the kids to the bus stop. He watches on as filming continues for Kate Plus 8. He does notice from a distance that Kate does a lot of smiling and sweet words and tones for the camera, and then as soon as the crew is gone, she is a different person. When he sits outside the gates at the Reading, Pennsylvania house, hoping to get some pictures of Kate, he says that the kids look very tense and they are easily upset by everything around them. The reports are that they are fighting constantly and acting out in school. Kate doesn't spend any real quality time with them, so they're on their own to try to figure out what's going on in the midst of all of this divorce. Kara and Maddie are getting upset at little things and yelling back at the babysitters. They don't have a mother in their lives to give them discipline right now. While Kate is off giving interviews and really focused on the show, they talk back to the nannies now too, and the nannies are yelling right back at them. The following excerpts are information that Hoffman gathered from different sources throughout PA that have worked closely with Goslin or have been part of or close to the family. So October 2009. I spoke to a source today and she told me that Kate went crazy last week after reading the Us Weekly story. She knows that somebody that works for her is talking and she's threatening to fire everyone and hire new people to watch the kids. She said if she finds out that one of the babysitters is talking to anybody about her family, she's going to fire their asses and sue them. After that, she's been completely quiet around the babysitters. She was on the phone yelling at Jamie Ayers about the photo of her yelling at the kids. And she said, "How could you be so stupid to do that in front of the paparazzi?" So Jamie is a longtime friend that's helped babysit the kids. And I guess a picture was taken of her yelling at the children. And Kate's like, "That's not what we're supposed to do when other people are around, Jamie." October 2009, Hoffman writes, Kate is off again doing TV interviews to gain the public's sympathy. I wish just one time an actual tear would come out of her eye as she's pretending to cry and wipe away imaginary tears. It would be so much more convincing. Kate's busy doing interviews and book signings and speaking engagements and taping a pilot for a new TV show, all while her 8 children are home with paid staffers. She says it's for the children, but the children are the ones suffering. They're growing up without parents, and the lesson they're learning is that money is more important than love. Kate is so consumed with fortune and fame that she's lost sight of what should be most important. December 2009. The nanny took all 8 kids to the bus stop this morning while Kate stayed inside. She left the house at 8:30 and lost the paparazzi on the country roads and disappeared for the rest of the day. The nanny came back to the house at 3:30 to get the van to go and pick up the kids. The bus pulled in and the kids jumped out and she gave them big hugs and then gathered them up and made their way toward the home. On my way back home, I drove past one of Kate's hot spots just to check, and sure enough, there was her car sitting right out front. She was at the tanning salon, 2 minutes from the bus stop. I guess keeping that healthy glow is more important than picking up your kids. December 2009. John approached Kate to try to discuss his TLC situation. He was hoping to convince her to talk TLC into dropping the injunction against him and releasing him from his contract so he could take jobs and make some money to pay his bills and child support. John said to Kate, "There's no way I can pay that much child support if I'm not on TV." And Kate responded, "I guess you're going to jail then." There are so many more excerpts here, and they're mostly about Kate just like gallivanting around town, going to get her nails done, going to get her hair done, and not showing up when the kids are like coming home from school or needing her in any kind of way. Hoffman just argues that it's really sad to watch this because the kids are growing up without the presence of either parent for the majority of the time. Okay, the next chapter of this book is entitled Daddy's Little Girl, and it's all about Kate's tumultuous relationship with her own father. Hoffman writes, Kate hates her parents, especially her father, Kenton Kreider. Okay, so in Kate's journals, she talks about having spent some time with Mr. and Mrs. Glassman, okay? Mr. Glassman is a doctor, okay? He's a plastic surgeon that ended up doing Kate's tummy tuck surgery in 2006. And their daughter, Haley, ends up dating John Goslin. It was so weird. But anyway, Kate talks about the Glassmans in her journal. August 2006. Kate said that she felt like the Glassmans were her parents, and it felt so good. She said that she never had that as a kid, and she really enjoyed the feeling. Hoffman lets us know that Kate talks very rarely about her parents in her journals, and it's mostly like regarding her grandparents and how much she really liked them. In December of 2006, she talks about her parents and just talks about how crazy they're being. And she says it's the usual, how it always is. She doesn't disclose any further details about what's going on with them. But then the final entry about her parents is in May 2007. This is when she writes about pulling Colin up by his hair. And in that journal entry, she says that day she saw her dad in herself and it really scared her. So Kate's parents, Kenton and Charlene Kreider, are the grandparents that took care of Maddie and Kara while Kate was in the hospital giving birth to the sextuplets, but beyond that, we don't know much about them. Hoffman's going to let us know what the rumors are about Kate's relationship with her own parents. The widely accepted story explaining Kenton and Charlene Kreider's absence from Kate in the children's life is that Kate's dad asked the members of his church for donations after John and Kate had the sextuplets. His church members responded by donating lightly used baby clothes and several cribs. Instead of being appreciative and grateful for the generosity, Kate decided that she only wanted new things, matching cribs and clothing, not used one. She told her dad that she only wanted him to ask for cash. Okay, but of course, Kate's parents, they didn't feel comfortable going back to their church and asking for cash. So when Kate mentions her parents on John and Kate Plus 8, she says that they just don't even know how to help us. And Hoffman argues that what Kate likely meant is that we didn't get the cash that we wanted. Our parents, they don't understand like our level of like expectations of how our life is going to be. And it's not living with stuff from Walmart. Like we're looking for higher end. We're looking for a higher end lifestyle for our family. Now, according to Hoffman, Kate also questioned her dad, like, okay, but this time around, when these people gave all of these used items, didn't you also pass the collection plate? So where is the cash from that? Kate wanted to know where her money was. And apparently her dad was like, there isn't money, it's just these items. When push came to shove, Kate ended up accusing her father of stealing her money from the collection plate. And she banished him from her life for quite a long time. She did the best thing she could to hurt her parents. She vowed to never let them see their grandchildren again. Okay, now Hoffman lets us know that he was able to speak to one of Kate's siblings who wants to remain anonymous. According to the sibling, Kate is just like her father. She's driven by power, control, and money. The sibling also revealed that Kate and all of her sisters and brother were emotionally and physically abused by their parents. Apparently, Kenton Kreider was the poster boy for Proverbs 23:13-14. He took the phrase, spare the rod, spoil the child to the extreme. There were daily beatings for any and all disciplinary infractions. Kate walked around on eggshells, never knowing when or where the next beating would occur. Kate said on an episode of John and Kate Plus 8 that she was very over-disciplined, and it sounds like it was true. In a special that aired TLC's Kate, Her Story, Kate even made the comment, and it's always kind of like without backing it up, like letting us know what really happened. She says that there just weren't many happy things that happened in her childhood. Hoffman argues that Kate learned a really important lesson from her father, and that was primarily that she could get a lot of money from church-going Christians who were ready and prepared to hand over money through tithing. Hoffman writes, Kate got to see firsthand, watching her father in church, how easy it was to convince people to give, till it hurt. As a young girl, she watched the collection basket being passed around, and she wondered how she could get her hands on some of that money. She kept that thought tucked away for a rainy day. When it rains, it pours, and soon enough, Kate found her own unique way to get her hands on the hard-working Christians' money. She gave birth to 6 children at once, knowing full well and in advance that there was absolutely no way in heaven or hell that she and John were going to be able to afford to raise 8 children on their own. Kate knew her target audience from doing her own research on the McGaffey septuplets, and she wagered that when she announced to the world that she was dead set against even thinking about selective reduction, her new flock would hoist her on their shoulders and deliver her to the promised land. She played this card over and over again. Hoffman also mentions that in all of his research, he's never heard Kate speak about her parents in any kind of a singular fashion. Whenever she mentions her parents, it was always in the plural form, my parents. She never once spoke Kenton's name, nor alluded to a single happy memory of her father since the estrangement, ever. Kate is afraid of her father and what he might say about her in the media. In March of 2012, Kate got spooked when someone posing as Kate's father on Twitter sent her several cryptic tweets about things that only Kate, Kenton, and the mysterious tweeter would know about. Kate was afraid that her father could possibly be the person behind this book, and within days, she blogged about happy memories of her father paying bills when she was a child. So Hoffman really believes that Kate is playing a game of trying to keep her dad and her mom happy enough so they don't come forward and disclose things they may know about from her childhood. And we've talked about this before. Potentially there's a rumor that she had an abortion when she was younger, a teenager, and that Kenton and her mother were part of ensuring she had the procedure done. All right, that's it for tonight, folks. Thank you so much for joining me as we head down yet another Kate Goslin rabbit hole. I hope you'll join me next time.